Yes, it never stops here in Houston, but Houston firefighters is always serving through courage, commitment, and compassion. That's our motto here.
It's great.
So we serve 24/7.
Welcome to Successful Living with Bill Knapik. Every week, we talk with interesting people in a variety of professions for ideas to enhance your success in all aspects of life. Successful Living with Bill Knapik starts right now. Here's Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Successful Living with Bill Knapik. That's me. And today, a special edition as we have our show partner, Elizabeth Stein, is here today. And that is always a tremendous thing because she is helping so many people on a daily basis in her vast network because she knows everybody. Elizabeth, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Bill. Thank you. I'm really thrilled to be here.
Here we are. It seems like it's been a month, but today, let's tell people about who you brought forth today.
Well, we'll start. We have two great guests today. First and foremost, these lovely blondes from 100 Shares, Kathleen in the turquoise and Kathy in the black top. And they're here to tell us everything we don't know and what we need to know about 100 Shares.
In fact, right there, that the name 100 Shares should ring a bell and make people curious to say, I wonder what that is if they don't already know. So let's find out right now. Who wants to go first?
Well, I'll start us off.
Kathleen, there she is.
Thank you. Well, 100 Shares Houston, specifically for Houston, is a Christian-based women's organization where we provide financial grants to Christian nonprofits in the Houston area, serving people in need while they proclaim and share the gospel. And the grants, we commit to a minimum of two $50,000 grants or one $100,000 grant per year, hence the number 100. And our goal is to have a minimum of 100 partners who each give $1,000, which $1,000 is a lot of money. But when we can multiply that times 100 women, we then have $100,000. And while $1,000 will do a lot of great things, $100,000 can do, a whole lot of good things. And so that's the purpose of the organization.
Well, tell us how long you have been up and running in Houston, because my understanding is that there are several 100 Shares across the United States. I think maybe there are 7, and how you guys got started here.
Well, we got started in the year 2014, and there were actually 4 ladies who founded the group. 2 of them had a personal connection with someone who was on the board at 100 Shares in Dallas, and they were intrigued by the type of work that they were doing in Dallas and the grants they were giving. 2 other women had heard of 100 Shares and reached out to both the Atlanta and the Dallas chapters to find out how they could get a chapter started here. And the 4 ladies met and they started 100 Shares.
So they mentor between the cities. The parent chapter, if you can call it that, would have been Atlanta.
Correct.
And then you can reach out to them and they will come in and mentor and guide.
So Atlanta is our founding chapter, and they reached out to Atlanta, and the only criteria was that we serve the needy and proclaim the gospel. And so based on that, then they got advice from Dallas on how to, because think about it, they had to build a grant process. They had to put a grant application together. They had to find ministries to send the grant application to. So Dallas was very helpful in getting this organization started.
Very good. Very good.
And for those that might not be driving right now, the website is 100shareshouston.org. That's 100shareshouston.org. And ladies, Kathy and Kathleen, first of all, Kathy, let's tell people your role with the organization.
Okay, well, I am actually the past chair. My role ended at the awards luncheon this past March. And so now I serve more in an advisory capacity. But, I oversaw the whole process last year.
And Kathleen?
And I'm currently serving on the board this year as the director of recruitment, which is helping to recruit new partners. And every year it's a commitment, but we want to have people re-sign up again each year, and then also to reach out and have additional partners, because the more partners we have, the more money we're able to give away. This past year, we were able to give $137,000 away because we had more than 100 partners. So Eyes on Me was our grant recipient this year here in Houston, and they received $100,000. But then we had another $37,000 that we could give our other finalists, which we can explain that process.
So many needs and so many people need help. So many organizations need help. How does that part work?
So again, we have a somewhat narrow focus in that we support organizations that serve the needy and proclaim the gospel. And so we develop right now we have a letter of intent that's due on June 15th. And so we send that out to previous award winners. We send it out to churches that we have relationships with. And we have a long contact list. National Christian Foundation that administers our charitable giving fund. They help us find prospective ministries. And so we send out our letter of intent. And it just has a way of organically spreading, and organizations find out about it.
And we also are available on social media as well. We have an Instagram page as well as a Facebook page, and so we post information there as well.
But do you have to be reached out to, or can someone go on your website and apply and be vetted through your system? It's not necessarily just by invitation.
No, anyone can apply for the grant, and we have 4 grant criteria. One is they serve the needy. 2, they proclaim the gospel. They have to apply for a grant that expands an existing operation or it starts a new initiative. And the fourth item is that they have to be able to spend the money when the check is given to them.
I like that. It's not sitting around in some bank account somewhere. It's going to work.
We want their project to be done within a year or 2 at the most.
Very nice. Very nice.
I would think also, as everything's going up in price too, there's maybe even a pressure to raise more money, right? To be able to get more mileage out of whatever the funds that you're able to get. Everything is going up. Gas.
Absolutely. And the reason to just have more partners, and we're really trying to expand our reach and also just and diversify within our own group to be more representative of the population here in Houston. So even to be a partner, it's open to anyone who would like to go to the website and learn more information and donate.
And again, the website is 100shareshouston.org. That's 100shareshouston.org.
So if you grant to an organization this year, can they reapply next year, or do you have a waiting period between applications?
So if they receive the primary grant, then they have to, it used to be 2 years, they had to wait for 2 years, and since we're entering our second decade, we've now extended that to 3 years.
Okay.
But, for example, as Kathleen mentioned, we had 3 other finalists, and they did receive some money, about $12,500. They can reapply next year because they weren't the primary recipient of the grant.
As far as the grant recipients, what kind of feedback do you get after they receive the grant, maybe sometime down the road? What do you hear back? That must be an exciting part of the...
One of the awesome things, part of our process, we to the winner, we present the check at a luncheon the beginning of March, and the winner for that year speaks. But then we also invite the previous winner or winners to come back and give us an update on what's taken place with the money that they received the year before. And it's always been very rewarding to see the impact that has been made by these grants.
That's the word I was looking for, impact.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And there's so much of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other thing is we require, if you receive the primary grant from us, that you submit progress reports. So the ministry submits a progress report in the fall and then one in the spring, so we have an idea of how things are progressing. Because, we feel as a board that we have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that, the money is being spent for specifically what the grant was intended for.
Well, and the beauty of this is your overhead is minimal, and you're putting all the dollars to work.
That is correct.
Absolutely. All $100,000 goes to the ministry to help them in their initiative. And the other part, we do get quite a few applicants, but there's always room for more. And the letter of intent we mentioned is due June 15th. So the timing of this is perfect to get the word out to any ministries who might be interested. They can go onto our website at 100shareshouston.org and fill out a simple letter of intent. And then we will get back to them by July 15th, because that's just to help know whether or not they meet the basic criteria. So they don't have to go through a lot of additional work. It's kind of an initial screening process. And then we narrow it down to 4. And then in the fall, we have a coffee where we invite all of our partners, and the 4 finalists present for about 7 minutes about their organization and how the money, whether it's the $50,000 or the $100,000 that they're requesting, will impact their organization. And then the beginning of the following year, so January 2024, we will then go on site with our partners to each one of our 4 finalists and spend 1 hour touring their facility, listening to a presentation, whatever it is that they would like to share with us at that opportunity. And then there's a lot of time going back and asking questions of these organizations. The wonderful thing about 100 Shares that I've noticed is that the amount of prayer and discernment that is used in evaluating the different organizations for the grants is incredible, because $1,000 is a lot of money that people are entrusting us with, and we want to make sure that we're being really good stewards of that money. And so then we have our 4 finalists, and then we have a vote, and then that's where we come up with our winner, and then we present at our celebration luncheon.
I felt comfortable when I first joined, donating $1,000, but I was amazed when I got on the board to see the rigor that goes into evaluating these grants. And I mean, these grants are scrubbed. And when I talk to people about joining 100 Shares, that is a huge selling point, knowing that they have been, we've had at least, before we even get to the coffee, we've had at least one board member visit every single ministry, because you learn a lot when you are actually at the ministry. And then every board member reviews every single grant that are applied, and they're thick applications.
Mm-hmm. One of the beauties of what I've enjoyed about the organization is in Houston, there are a lot of great organizations out there doing amazing things, and most of these organizations I would have never had a clue about had I not been a part of 100 Shares. So some of the women may find to learn a little bit more about an organization, and even though they may not be the finalist or the winner, someone may fall in love with that organization and then go on and serve in their organization. So
I was reading about some of that on the site with some of the organizations that people ultimately said, I'm going to go volunteer and help them because they're such a needy and worthy organization. What are some of the most interesting? I mean, reading, obviously, there's some things that certain ministries that you hear about with education, Christianity, children, but there are others, for example, that are people coming out of prison or human trafficking, or some of those that are not as publicized, and you feel like the impact that you've made on them was significant?
Absolutely. Actually, if you go to our website, 100shareshouston.org, there is a 6-minute video.
I saw
and
it.
3 of our ministries are profiled on that. And it sounds silly, but I tear up every time I watch the video.
They're very special.
They are very special. And, it's inspirational, the work that these organizations are doing. And for our members, it allows you to donate to a ministry that you might not ordinarily do. Mm-hmm. And for example, Eyes on Me was our grant recipient this year, and I had never heard of them. They are a group that mentor and disciple youth that are at risk and their families. And they asked for a $100,000 grant to take their Greens Point Center. It's a community center, and they were moving to a larger site, and they wanted to build it out. And as part of that, they teach these youth ages 10 to 18 skills, such as T-shirt design, decorating shoes, and they're expanding to teach other skills like carpentry. They were telling us that they have young men that don't know how to use a ruler, don't know what a fraction is. And these individuals are most likely not even going to go to community college. But at their Brookshire facility, they're teaching them carpentry skills, plumbing, electrical. And so with the money that we donated to Eyes on Me, they're putting similar type of educational equipment at their Greenspoint location. And I love what they say. You know, Greenspoint has become Guns Point, and they want to turn it into God's Point.
Wow. Yeah. That's great.
We're talking with Kathy Bennett, Kathleen Pennington. They're with 100 Shares, an organization. The website is 100shareshouston.org. And, of course, the wonderful Elizabeth Stein. Elizabeth, this is fascinating as we find ways to help. So let's tell people, Kathy and Kathleen, of all the things you could be doing, what was it about, let's say, Kathy, what brought you into the organization to begin with, of all the different things you could do to help here in Houston?
You know, how did I find out about it?
How did you find out?
I was actually playing tennis with someone I hadn't met before, and we're picking up tennis balls, and she starts telling me about the organization. Yeah. And that's how I found out about it. It's very word of mouth. And, you know, one of my goals last year as chair was to get the name out more into the community. Because as Kathleen said, the more members we have, the more money we can give out.
And I also found out through a friend. And so that's why today is so wonderful to have the opportunity to just get the word out to others. And it's just nice to be a part of something bigger than yourself. Yep. Bigger than my $1,000, and just to see, it's very rewarding to see the impact that's being made and the change that's happening.
It's you read so much gloom and doom in the news, you hear
Too
about
much.
Exactly, and when you see the work that these ministries are doing, for example, at our coffee every year, I walk out from that coffee inspired when I've heard what these 4 ministries are doing to help the needy in our Houston community.
Do you find moving forward or in reflection that you've had much attrition from the first year? Or do you see that people stay with it and it keeps growing?
We probably have about, since this is, we're entering our second decade, we probably have about 40% of the members who were part of the first year. Mm-hmm. And so every year, we're adding new members. We have some members that drop out. It could be they've moved to another city, or, they have something that precludes them from joining again.
Mm-hmm. But we have fairly good retention. And the exciting thing for this year is that this is our 10th year. And with our gift this last year, we went over the $1 million mark.
Wonderful.
So we're celebrating over $1 million given here in the city of Houston. So
what's your goal? What's your goal in your new role as membership and
unlimited opportunities, right?
Okay.
Well, I'll say the Dallas 100 Shares group has 150 members, and there is no reason why Houston shouldn't be larger than Dallas. I mean, it's a point of pride in the state of Texas. I mean, the largest chapter's in Atlanta, and they have 250 members.
So our goal would be to be the number 1 chapter, obviously.
Exactly. That's a great goal to have. Mm-hmm. That's a great long-range plan, and you can do it.
Absolutely.
You can do it.
Once again, we're talking with Kathy Bennett and Kathleen Pennington, along with Elizabeth Stein. Well, ladies, before we close the segment, we have a few minutes left. But what else do you want people to know about the organization, Kathy?
I want people to know that it's open to anyone. It's anyone who is willing to make the donation. And I just want them to know that, as Kathleen said, $1,000 is a lot of money to give to an organization. But when you can multiply that by 100 times, you can have a significant impact on a organization. And the other thing is, exactly where your money is going. We'll be able to see the equipment or hear about the equipment that has been installed at Eyes on Me. So I really, in terms of, when it comes to philanthropy, I like to know that it's local, that the money is being spent well. and I like to be able to see the results.
Well, I would just like to say, a lot of times people say, well, they're just too busy to get involved. Everyone's too busy. And the nice thing about 100 Shares is it doesn't take a lot of time. And you can, spend as much time with the organization if you decide to join the board later on. But really just to come to a coffee, hear short presentations, hear about these ministries, and then go to the site visits and come have a fun lunch where we're, giving, $100,000 to ministries. It really doesn't require a lot of time. And so that's why I think it is open to a lot of people in that way.
We have many members who just donate because they feel comfortable with the grant process that we have.
And like what you said, Kathleen, people say, oh, I don't have time. I hate when people tell me how busy they are, because you know what? We're all busy.
We're all
Don't
busy.
tell me how busy you are, but we have all the same amount of time, and it's a matter of what do we want to, what's important, how do we determine that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So if you're busy, we're all busy.
But
we make room for the important things in life and about giving back. And that's one of I think the great things about Houston, since I've been here many decades, is one of the great things is, we have a lot of challenges along the way. People, I don't know how many people are moving in a day. I forget the number. But there's a lot of good people here and a lot of people that want to help the community and what's around.
And also for the listeners that this is new to, which obviously there are going to be a big portion of you that it's new to. You are a 501c3.
Actually, we're a charitable giving fund.
You're a charitable giving fund.
That is correct. And our giving fund is administered by National Christian Foundation. And we chose not to be a 501c because we are a 100% volunteer organization. Okay. And if you are a 501c3, then you have to issue receipts. You have to file a 990. National Christian Foundation does all of our accounting for our charitable fund, and we pay a very minimal amount.
That is great to know. I didn't even realize that was an option in terms of people's giving and reporting of their giving. So that's wonderful.
So for anybody that wants to help or where you would talk to them about the presentation you mentioned, that's all on the website?
That is correct.
And that is 100shareshouston.org.
You can sign up to be a partner on the website, and there's more information.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Kathy Bennett, Kathleen Pennington. Thanks for being with us, ladies.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break and come back.
Bill Knapik has produced another show, Successful Living with Bill Knapik, one of the most unique programs of its kind. Sundays from 6 to 7 p.m. on AM 950 KPRC. Successful Living with Bill Knapik. Go to radiobill.net, radiobill.net for more info.
As we continue, let's talk to Captain Gabe Dominguez. He's a Houston firefighter. Elizabeth, let's tell people about Captain Gabe before we get to talk to him.
Well, I can tell you this about Captain Gabe Dominguez. Not only is he a Houston firefighter, but he spends his extra time, if you have extra time.
He's busy too, right?
He's very, very busy, as we discussed before. But in addition to being a firefighter and having a family, he dedicates time to the Texas Firefighters Home that we have him here today to learn all about. And that in itself is a huge undertaking.
On that note, Captain, let's tell people about, first of all, your service with the firefighters.
Thank you.
You're also a firefighter right now. You're still fighting fires here in Houston.
Yes, Bill. I've served on the job for 21 years. I'm at Station 50, and I'm on the A shift, which is the alpha shift.
I like alpha shift.
Now, is that when you say alpha, does that mean it's a certain time of the day, or you're the...
No, we have four
front
shifts.
line?
We have 4 shifts here in Houston. Yes, I am on the front line, but we have 4 shifts, A, B, C, and D, and that's how they differentiate the shifts by letters.
Interesting.
Well, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about the Texas Firefighters Home and bring us up to speed a little bit on it, or our listeners for sure.
Okay. The Texas Firefighter Home started in 2013. It started with Omer Ponce, that was also a firefighter here in Houston. He was a Rotarian. He reached out, and they started off with 2 rooms there at the Jesse Jones, right across from MD Anderson. And they had a vision to build a home that would house firefighters and their immediate families. So their vision was to start out with 40 apartment units. We're currently not there yet, but we started growing. So we went to Marnell Living Apartments, where we've been able to secure 5 apartments, and we're always using out their guest apartments. So we're at 6 apartments currently.
That's big. That's big. Well, and the thing about this, which I recently learned from reading, is it's for all first responders. It's not just firefighters, correct? It's other first responders and their families if you qualify and have a need that they serve.
Yes, it's for all first responders and their immediate family that qualify through the application process on our website at texasfirefightershome.org.
It's quite a website, Bill. I know you've had a minute to take a look at it also, but it's got lots of information and lots of goals, things you're trying to accomplish, different ways you can give, ways you can volunteer, how to help out. So it's a good spot to go learn all that stuff.
Absolutely. We're always looking for ambassadors to meet our firefighters and first responders when they come in with their families so they feel comfortable. You know, we had a family that recently was here in Tulsa. They came from Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was a firefighter there. And before he came to Houston, he was actually in St. Louis. He went there for treatment first. And he said, big difference. Just how the community supports him, and as well as the Houston firefighters supporting him and his family while he was getting treatment, made him feel that he was back in Tulsa. So we did that as well. He had a big need. He needed a blood transfusion. MD Anderson was running low in blood donations. So Houston came big. We were able to fill up all the appointments for blood donations at MD Anderson for 3 weeks.
That's incredible. I mean, that's really incredible.
Yep, and we did that. We, here as a community, we all stepped up and we did it for our firefighter brother Harrison that's out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. He just got to go home the other day, and his family said to say a big thank you to Houston for supporting him.
Well, who are the people that will be in the home? Now, are these people that have had injuries or? So
the determination is the firefighter qualifies, one, by being a firefighter, or it can be as an immediate family member. What we're seeing here coming down here for Houston, it's because we have MD Anderson in our backyard. And these firefighters that are being exposed to these carcinogens, and then they're coming down with rapid cancer diagnosis compared to the general population. You know, they're saying one out of five firefighters will come down with a cancer diagnosis.
Wow.
So we're out of all the first responder brothers and sisters that we see from police, fire, and military, we're seeing predominantly firefighters that are coming down here for cancer treatment. But you can also qualify just for an illness or an injury. It doesn't have to be cancer. That's just what we see predominantly here a lot in Houston, and that's what the home is getting filled with pretty much every day because cancer fight is a long-term fight, unfortunately. It's not a short-term. So the TexasFirefighterHomes.org provides short-term housing there with those 6 apartments.
So bottom line, it's for those firefighters that need help.
Right. Most of the firefighters that are coming down here are from all over the U.S. We've had firefighters from Florida, Denver, California, El Paso, but most of them are Louisiana. Nobody comes from Houston because they live so close. We're very fortunate that we have the largest med center
medical
here, and where other firefighters do not have that large medical center, and they don't have a cancer center as well, like we're fortunate to have. So we saw the need, and we decided to fill that need because we see the faces of these firefighters struggling when they sounded the alarm, for the help. The first thing is they're reaching out to us at our firefighters union hall that I also work at, and we get the phone call there that comes in, and they're asking where's housing, and they already have enough stress with the cancer diagnosis. And we as firefighters, just like we take an oath to serve the citizens here in Houston, we also have our own oath where we want to serve each other and take care of each other. And the biggest thing we could figure out what to do was being able to remove the stress of housing, and we did that through the Texas Firefighter Home organization.
I think when people think generally, and I don't speak for all people, every now and then I might try to, but when people think about firefighters, we think of maybe the obvious dangers, getting burned, something falling on an individual when they're going in to fight a fire, and injuries of that nature. I had no idea, and I'm glad that you're here today to tell us that cancer, you're saying 1 in 5 firefighters, from the things that are burning, that cancer becomes more prominent for the firefighter, or the things that you're using to fight the fire, or both?
It's a couple of contributing factors, right? There's been the foam, and then of course
like foam insulation.
The foam that
the foam you used to
we
fight
used
the fire.
use,
Okay.
Yes, the foam we used to use to
Okay.
fight fires. The other contributing factors is everybody stores different things in their home. Everyone stores different chemicals in their home, which they off gas and give different chemicals, which then that firefighter's immune system can activate some cancer cells automatically. So even though we go in there with an SCBA, it sticks to our equipment, to our gear, so that we're taking that back with us to our firehouse, even though we try to do the best job we can to decontaminate it. But, when it's at off gases, it goes airborne, and it can still permeate through the gear, even though we have some of the best gear that's available to us, but it can still penetrate through there.
Okay, as you described that, Captain Gabe, I'm just visually thinking about my own home. And hope it never catches on fire, but if it did, there are aerosols with pest repellent, furniture polish maybe. Actually, I don't think I have furniture polish, but I could. Shoe polish, all those things that are in paint cans. So when they heat up and are part of a home fire or a business fire, there's no telling what kind of stuff's coming off of there.
Very destructive. It's very destructive. So, Gabe, what's your biggest need for the firefighter's home? Where is the reach to people listening? What they can do in any way? Where are you in that journey?
The biggest need is housing. We'd like to grow. We'd like to get our short-term goal is to get to 10 apartments. We're currently at 5, but like I said, the 6th one we try to rent out the guests because we're turning down firefighters because the need's big, and like I said, 1 in 5 will have a cancer diagnosis. So we have multiple needs. We're always taking volunteers. You can apply through our website, as well as furnishings, and you can also do monetary donations on our website at texasfirefighters.org. We do have a big need to grow because we don't like turning anyone down.
That must feel terrible.
And we don't like saying no. So the other thing that the Texas Firefighters Home's done is that if we cannot we're not allowed to get housing at that time because it's filled, then we look at supplementing them through, if they have to get a hotel, we pay a percentage of their hotel to give them assistance that way. We don't want to tell anybody no, turn them down.
Well, and you take children of first responders, so you've got some babies in there and that are coming to town for treatments, and that in itself deepens the need from just that person to extending through their families.
Yes, we do. We take firefighters and their immediate families, children, spouses, and we also take retired firefighters.
Oh, that's great.
So it is a big need. The rooms stay pretty full. I mean, currently right now, all 5 apartments are full.
So someone listening that may be in a position to donate, maybe they're owners of apartments or other type of living spaces, those people can reach out to you if they have that and say, hey, we have 5 rooms or 5 apartments. They could do that as well. And then the furniture you mentioned would be the furniture to be put in the living spaces, right?
Yes. Yes.
The website again is?
TexasFireFightersHome.org.
And they can find out all the information right there.
All the information's right there.
Well, and if the good thing about what you're saying too, I hear that there's the need. You obviously have to turn people down. That's heartbreaking. But once they get into the apartment, they can be there 3 days to 3 months. And in the event that they are really needing extensions, then they can ask or apply for that. And in some cases, you're able to help them out.
Yes, absolutely. So we allow firefighters or immediate family members to stay up to 90 days. That's the stay. At the only cost that's taken on by the families is the cleaning fee, which is $130, and we use a professional cleaning company to come and sanitize, since we're dealing with a lot of firefighters and their family that their immune system's not the best. So we make sure that this company comes in and sanitize each apartment before the next firefighter or immediate family comes in.
Well, I'm always creeping around on the websites, and so I was going through and reading the process, the application process, and what you all doing your due diligence in clearing people that are coming through. And so that once somebody gets into the apartment, they really have a need, and you want to help them out. You just want to help them out.
We do. We try to do our best. We're trying to get these firefighters in there, and like you spoke earlier, Elizabeth, we don't want to tell anybody no. Mm-hmm. We also try real hard to raise money as well for the organization. We're currently we're looking at doing a gala September 30th.
Yep. So September 30th, Post Oak.
And that's
Hilton.
The one the famous one that you have been
the famous one.
a part of for years.
Your tickets, let's see, go on the website and look, because it's open to everyone. They have, obviously a great event, a lot of information shared. But you could, tables for 10 start at about $1,500. I mean, that's a pretty nice price ticket here in Houston, Texas for fundraisers at $150. But they could really use donors that go way beyond that amount to help them reach these goals, to add apartments and to get furniture. And I know you've had some donations in the past for mattresses and these types of things. So always a good shout out to those that have helped with that. And just there's lots.
Absolutely. We're always looking at growing, so any furnishings that we can get. We just got the good news that Texas Mattress Makers just gave us 10 mattresses.
That's awesome.
So that's great news, because we're going to go and replace all the mattresses in these apartments.
So this is Yuval?
Yes.
Yes. Well, you know what? He is a friend of the firefighters. Don't know if he's listening to the radio, but just want to say you've been a great friend of the firefighters, and I know how much you appreciate it. Yeah.
We're talking with Captain Gabe Dominguez, the Houston firefighters. And first of all, anybody listening that is a firefighter, that's a military, is serving in the military or police department. We want to let you know we appreciate you in a big, big way, whether you're right here in Houston or far beyond listening on the internet or whatever, but we most appreciate it right here. But Captain, give us an idea. You're a firefighter, and this is the kind of profession that it's a calling in a way. Give us an idea. You're a firefighter for how many decades now?
I've been doing it for 21 years.
In Houston.
So
right away, give us an idea of as we talk about firefighters and helping, but a day in the life right here. Every day's different. You get different calls, all that. But give us people an idea of what it is for a firefighter right here in Houston, Texas. And, it's hot and humid. I'm just saying. What's it like?
It's awesome. It's hard to put words to it, but it's for me, it's one of the greatest, and I have my family life and then I have my fire life. So it's a great thing. I'm very fortunate that I'm able to serve the citizens of Houston. Like, this is the 4th largest city in the country. And to me, it's never been a job, because I enjoy it so much, very passionate about the job. It's going to be very hard to me when it comes to close that chapter. And recently, my son, that's a senior in high school, is looking at even following my footsteps. So
congratulations.
What's his name? He might be listening.
Roman Dominguez.
Okay, Roman.
So,
thank you, Roman.
But the job is great. We report to duty at 06:30 in the morning. We stay on shift for 24 hours. Here in Houston, we do fire and EMS. So we do a rotation. Some days we're on the EMS unit, some days we're on the fire engine. We respond to 1,400 incidents a day.
1,400 per day.
Anywhere from 1,200 to 1,400.
So when something happens, someone presses 911, right? And then somewhere, how do you all get the call? And there's many firehouses around the city. How does that work?
So there's 94 firehouses throughout the city. Someone calls 911, it goes through our dispatching center, which is OEC, and then it patches it through the firehouse that's in that area. And depending what the emergency is, if it's fire or it's medical, we respond to both. So sometimes you'll get a fire engine there with your medical calls, because to us, we treat every emergency serious for us. So if it's cardiac or if it's your house on fire, time is of importance for us.
Seconds count.
Seconds count, because survivability, if it's a heart attack or a stroke or your house is on fire and we can get there quicker and safe, we can prevent the damage from getting so big. As well as when you come down with a heart attack or stroke, if we can get there, our survivable rate is a lot higher for the average citizen if we're there within 10 minutes. So for us, is about there getting there safely. And as soon as we get that dispatch, we try to move quickly throughout the firehouse and then drive safely to the incident. But we want to be at your front step real quick.
So from the time you get 911, you get the call at your firehouse near let's say it's a person's house. So you get that call, how many seconds till the siren goes on and you're on the way? It's because you think of it in terms of seconds, I'm guessing, right?
Yes. The dispatching comes through when it first hits the station. It hits our MBT screens. Yep, we look up and we're moving.
It makes big noise.
Sure.
Big noise.
Get out of the way. They're on the way to something important to help people.
We're moving. Yeah.
As far as fires go, if there's a statistic even, when it is a call for a fire, about, it varies, I'm sure, how many fires are home fires, home and or apartments, and how many are business type fires? Or I guess when you get the call.
Yeah, so Houston's so diverse. There's so many different types of commercial, high rise, and now we're even
high rise. I didn't even think of that.
We're getting our townhomes that you start and see. I mean, it's real diverse when it comes to different structures here in Houston. And since we have no zoning, you can find these structures anywhere. You can have a commercial right in your residential, right outside your residential house. So fires change. You can have them on every part of the areas, north side, south side, as well as west side and east side. So apartments are everywhere, so is commercial. And then we have high rises. So here in Houston, we have
that gives me kind of the
a couple of skylines throughout the city.
Ooh.
Some of the high rises have many, many floors.
Yes.
Ladders.
No ladders.
Well,
no ladders.
How do you get there?
It depends on the situation. It depends what floor it is, and if we're able to take the elevator, if it's safe enough to take the elevator, we'll take the elevator. If not, we're climbing the stairs. We're coming to you through the stairwell.
I guess it's different, but at your firehouse, again, it's fire number 50?
50.
All right. So, and that's in a populated area of Houston. So at that particular station, about how many firefighters are there at any given time?
There's 7 of us housed there at Station 50 all the time.
Now, does it matter? Do are the incidents reports vary by whether it's a weekend or a weekday, or every day anything can happen?
Any day, anything can happen.
You've been to my house.
Don't sleep.
Yeah, we don't. It's a busy system here in Houston, and we have emergencies every single day.
And you've been to my house 3 times over the past 10 years.
For fires?
For fire. First time the entire house inside filled up with smoke. There were literally no flames to speak of. We were out of the country. The alarm is going off. And eventually someone across the street saw a little ember in a mattress. Well, this speaks to what you were talking about, the carcinogens on your clothes. The home filled with smoke. Nothing burned. We had to gut the house, all the wires, the insulation, everything, because it was all poisoned with the smoke.
How long
and
ago
it's so
was this?
It's been 10 years. But you were at my house 3 years ago when we were putting in drainage and they hit the gas line and the whole neighborhood practically was being evacuated, and all these people in hazmat suits were coming. I mean, it's so a different call. And then you showed up when my mother was thinking she was sick in the middle of the night. So
you're at the ready, Captain.
yeah, I mean, they were ready for all
I
of
bet
it.
he's going to write a book someday, or he could, of all the things you've seen in 20-some years.
Yeah.
Yes, it never stops here in Houston, but Houston firefighters is always serving through courage, commitment, and compassion. That's our motto here.
It's great.
So we serve 24/7.
Well, we can't have a firefighter on the show without help. Let's tell people, whether they're in a home, an apartment, their business, what are some of the things, maybe they're obvious, what should we do to prevent fires in our homes that you see where a fire breaks out, other than if someone's smoking and they fall asleep? Yeah, the cigarette can fall or whatever, but what should we do as a normal person to protect our homes? What do you do at your house?
At my house, we have a fire extinguisher there. We have smoke alarms in every bedroom. And that'd be a good practice for everyone to practice at their home or business. Either they get a fire security alarm that's monitored 24/7, or if they can't because of the price on some of them, at least put the battery-operated smoke alarms. Because of the smoke alarms is a great thing to have. It catches fires in the incipient stage. So,
and what do you call that stage? The incipient stage.
Incipient.
That means when it's getting ready to start.
Just when it's getting ready to start, like a phase 1, it's just brewing, and that's the stage everybody wants to catch it at because it prevents damage at that stage. You have very little fire that gets going, so that'd be the best stage for us to capture it. So
that would be a good stage if you did have the fire extinguisher. Instead of not doing anything, hit the fire extinguisher in the early stage and then call the fire department if you need to. And by the way, Father's Day is coming up. I bought my son and his family a couple fire extinguishers for Christmas, Captain.
You.
I do okay?
Good for
but
you.
I'm saying that's a good Father's Day gift. It's coming up.
It's a great
gift.
If you don't have the extinguishers, it's so important. How long do the extinguishers last? Because I got 3 at my house, by the way.
They're all dated differently. Like you can have them inspected if you buy it from a private company, or you can get them from Home Depot or Lowe's. But they're all dated.
There's a date on there.
There's
somewhere.
a date on them.
Just like on my eggs. There's a date.
But don't try to fight this fire on your own. Call 911 because we always have to go and investigate and check for any fire extension that gets through the walls and maybe into the attic. So don't try to take this on by yourself. If it's in the incipient stage and you put the extinguisher on it, still remember to call 911 to get us there to investigate it.
So also we want to remind people about Texas Firefighter Home as well. Circling back to that, that's very important because we know here in Houston people like to help, and they can go to Texas Firefighter or Firefighters Home.
TexasFirefighterHome.org.
Fighterhome.org. It's right there. All the ways that you can help. Give us an idea, Captain. What else should we know before we close this segment? You're doing good work. Thank you so much. I am going to speak for all the Houstonians. Yes. Everybody in the United States, in fact. Thank you for your help and any other firefighter, because we know sometimes they listen to this show.
Oh, yeah. We know they do.
They're driving around.
Heard.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
we appreciate them.
You're welcome, and thank you to everyone here in Houston. They're always big supporters of the Houston Fire Department. Thank you.
Well, the need is great, as we've heard. And so whether it's coming to the event this coming September, or going on the website and donating, or just as he was just talking about the mattresses, don't think that any little piece that you can do is too little, because there's so much.
Someone wants to donate a sofa.
There you go.
That's okay, Captain?
Yes, they can go through the website, and we'll arrange for one of our volunteers to go and pick the sofa up. So there's multiple things. It's just think about it like your house that you're trying to prepare of one of the rooms, sofas,
Gently used, of course.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just skipping around here, but I'm just now thinking also the fire trucks are there when there's cars on fire, right?
Yes.
I mean, I've seen some on the Katy Freeway, which I frequent. I have seen some things there.
What a mess that
They're all
what a mess.
Our highways are busy as can be, but that's a whole different kind of fire, isn't it? When a car gets a flame.
Yes, when a car gets engulfed with flames, it's a different type of fire than a structure fire. And now we have the new
electric cars.
Electrical
that's a
cars.
different kind of fire.
That's a whole different types of fire that takes lots of water, copious amounts of water just to put out that fire. Even though it's a small vehicle, but it has so many batteries under the undercarriage, so that creates a lot of fuel and flame. So yes, there's.
Now I would think a car with gasoline would be more prone to a fire than you're saying a pure electric car.
No, those electric cars have those ion batteries, and there's hundreds of them underneath the undercarriage, and they get hot and they ignite. It creates a whole different hazard.
So what do you spray on it, water or you have a chemical?
Water, copious amounts of water.
Now I have one of my cars is a hybrid, so I have gas. It's probably on fire right now. I don't know what's going on. I have gas and batteries. Holy smokes. No pun. Slightly intended.
Geez,
okay.
just kidding.
Anyway,
Just kidding.
well, be careful out there, everybody.
Everybody, be careful.
Be just like they say with personal safety. Have your head on a swivel. I'm going to add, have your head on a swivel to prevent fires in your home.
Yes.
Just be careful, right, Captain?
Absolutely. Stay safe, and then hydrate, because we also do fire and EMS. We don't want people getting out there having heat strokes. So
that's coming up too. Here we got the hotter weather, hurricane season.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
That's
Once again,
right.
we're glad you're on the job.
They're on the job in boats, in trucks, in
That's right.
off-road,
vehicles.
high water vehicles. There's so much.
Our hurricane season started June 1st, so we're in it.
Well, wish we had more time. So many questions to ask. However, we're hoping we're helping people here today, Elizabeth. You did another exceptional job of bringing people and organizations that we can help as Houstonians and wherever you're listening. Hey, if you're listening outside, you might be in Kansas or Oklahoma. It doesn't matter. You can help people, and certainly TexasFirefighterHome.org you can reach. And we thank you so much, Captain Gabe Dominguez, for your service and your complete team all over Houston.
Well, you're welcome, Bill. And thank you for hosting me.
Super awesome. Elizabeth, can't wait to see what
being here.
happens next month. And Elizabeth, you're doing tremendous work with the firefighters and everyone else. Elizabeth Stein, thank you so much. And thank you all for listening to Successful Living with Elizabeth and Bill and Captain Gabe and Kathy and Kathleen. We will see you next week. And also, you can see this show by going to radiobill.net. I'll have the YouTube video right there. You can see everybody. Again, that's radiobill.net. Be careful out there. Buy some fire extinguishers. Don't smoke. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Thank you.
Yes, it never stops here in Houston. But Houston firefighters is always serving through courage, commitment, and compassion. That's our motto here.
It's great.
So we serve 24/7.
Bill Knapik has produced another show, Successful Living with Bill Knapik, one of the most unique programs of its kind. Sundays from 6 to 7 p.m. on AM 950 KPRC. Successful Living with Bill Knapik. Go to radiobill.net for more info.